right. Can everyone hear me? Perfect. Welcome to United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey. We're very happy to have you here in Jenny Jump State Park in Hope, New Jersey. I want to welcome everyone who's come not only joining us here in the state park, but also online, because that is right. We live stream these on YouTube and Twitch. So if you're ever sitting at home, bored, wondering what to do on a Saturday night at 8 p.m., do feel free to join us there. Say hi in chat. I do have my mobile internet attached to my wrist, so I do monitor online chat. Since I think there's still a couple people who just came in and were parking, I do want to give them a couple minutes to be able to get down here and join us for the presentation. I do want to encourage everyone to check us out on our website, uacnj.org. It's where you're going to find a whole bunch of neat information, like our list of upcoming talks and our list and links to our past talks, because we do save these presentations. So if you're ever like, oh man, I really wish I hadn't missed Lindsay Goodwin's talk on plasma, don't worry, you can actually still check that out. They are saved on our YouTube. You're also going to find a list of all our member clubs, because we are actually an organization made up of many astronomy clubs throughout New Jersey, and also actually New York and Pennsylvania. One of the easiest ways to get into astronomy is to join your local astronomy club, and I do encourage you to check them out on our website, see which one's close to you, and check out their offerings as well. You can also check us out on our social media. We got Facebook, Instagram, we have a Discord server, all great places to keep in touch with what we're doing, as well as ask any questions you may have. I know a couple people reached out to us through there when the government shut down that, hey, are you still on? And yes, in fact, we are still on, because the state parks are governed by the state, and the state of New Jersey is still up and running. So, woo! We get to have our free Saturday programs. With that being said, you're not here to listen to me blabber on forever. You're actually here to listen to Lonny, and he's going to tell us what is up in the October sky. But before we get into that, I just realized I almost forgot the safety briefing, and that, unfortunately, is inescapable. If you need to use the restroom, that is the porta potty in the back. It is to my left. It will be behind you to your right. It is illuminated by red for ease of finding in the dark, because it is a state park, and though we have not quite a full moon, it does get quite dark. We also have a little museum and gift shop area also to my left, in this door outlined with the red rope light. We have a little meteorite display in there. Feel free to check that out. I'll be manning the gift shop after the presentation, since they won't allow me to break the laws of physics. I'm not allowed to be in two places at once. It's not just they won't let me. They're like, nope, that is strictly illegal according to the laws of science. Much to my dismay. You may have noticed when you were driving in each of those sheds, each of them houses its own telescope. The ones with the roofs rolled off actually are open and have a volunteer manning them. We also have some of our volunteers bringing their personal setups, and feel free to ask them what they're viewing. When we go to leave, we do want to be using... Stop. There we go. When we go to leave, we do want to be using our headlights, because we do not want to get run over, and I'm sure none of you want the medical bills associated with being run over. So let's avoid that. Keep our very long record of not having anyone run over going. That being said, it is dark. If we have any flashlights or we're using our cell phones to wander around, do try and keep those pointed towards the ground. We don't need to accidentally blind people by performing sick flashlight tricks and blinding people by shining our 10,000 lumen flashlights we just got off of Amazon directly into someone's retinas. It's no fun. So, with that, Lonnie here has been giving the What's Up series since UACNJ opened in 1994. He received degrees from Stevens Institute of Technology in physics and computer science, but then learned space art, animation, and video on his own. Lonnie is the only member of the IAAA who specializes in virtual reality worlds. Will shamelessly plug his awesome work with his ebook, that is also narrated by Jan. And honestly, best decision you ever made was to marry her. With that, here's Lonnie.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kim. Wow, thanks. I haven't done anything yet, but I appreciate that. We look like we have a record number of people here. So for the people in the back, if you can't see the screen too well, I'll repeat everything. Because as Jan, my wife, says, I'm old. I repeat everything. What's up in the October sky? Let's find out. There are several good sources that list sky events. I think the easiest to remember was probably space.com. I don't know how they got that address. It's great. But I like to go to go-astronomy.com and starwalk.space. I am an amateur astronomer. I'm a member of the International Association of Astronomical Artists, IAAA. I don't work for any of those organizations, so everything you see tonight is just for you, reference for you. It's all free, unless I say. So when I go to go-astronomy.com, I get a list of events, and I like to reorganize them. So we're going to be looking at phases of the moon. We're going to look at when the moon is in a bad phase, like now. Why is it bad? When it's gibbous or full, what can't you see? Oh, audience participation is not punished. You can't see anything, right? The moon's light drowns out the light of faint objects like star clouds, nebulae. So a good time to look at the sky is when the moon is in the daytime sky, called the new moon, and that would be October 21st, which is also, by coincidence, a time of a minor meteor shower. There's a very minor meteor shower before that on the 7th, which is just a few days from now, the Draconids from Draco. I'll let you guess what that is. And the Orionids from Orion. Anybody put your hand up if you ever heard of Orion? Yep, a lot of people. That's the hunter in the winter. Then finally, we have a minor event for us, the occultation. That's the hiding of Antares, the heart of the scorpion, by the moon. The moon will go in front of a star. We can't see it. You got to be down in South America or in the ocean to see that. So forget that one. And finally, we'll talk about looking for the innermost planet, the best time to do that, and that's the planet Mercury. If you want to learn more about the moon, you can go to moongiant.com. I have no idea why did they call it moon giant. It's a mystery. What's dark matter? What's moon giant? That's an even greater mystery to me than dark matter. But I don't work for them. I just use them as a reference. You can see the current phase of the moon, called gibbous. No relation to gibbon. That's a type of ape, right? So not gibbon. Gibbous moon means between quarter and full. Almost fully lit up, not quite. And so you can get the current phase of the moon. You can print out or look at a very nice chart of all the lunar phases. You can label them. You can see how much percent. There's a lot of things you can turn on here. The full moon, early in the month, terrible time to see anything when the moon's out. Last quarter moon is when the moon is in the south, with the bright part facing the sun on the left. And if you're facing south, which is that way at Jenny Jump, where is the sun rising? What direction? East, thank you. Again, these people in front are less timid. That's good. People in back, feel free to speak up. East is that way. Everything rises in the east, including the planet Mercury close to the sun. And the last quarter moon, when the sun's rising, will be right in the south. If you don't want to get up at 5 or 6 in the morning to see that, you can see nice details on the first quarter moon, end of the month, when the sun is setting. Look in the south, due south, you'll see the half lit up moon. Why do we call it a quarter moon? No guesses? Where's the other side of the moon? We can't see it, right? So we're looking at half, right? You were right. Half of a half is lit up quarter. What about the other half? Can we see the other side of the moon ever? Well, if you have a spaceship, yeah, but from the Earth, no, because the moon spins around at the same rate that it goes around the Earth. It's called locked rotation or synchronous. And it turns out all the big moons of the solar system do this to their parent planet. They're all locked in. So the moon goes around 27 and a third days, it spins, 27 and a third days around. You can also see what the moon's phases look like from the southern hemisphere. Anybody ever visit Australia, South America, Africa? No? Maybe? So the full moon has got some very poetic names every month. I like to give those names, and we have an unusual situation this month. Normally, the full moon in September is called the Hunter's Moon, but this year, the October full moon is Hunter's Moon. This is a rare event. It happens on average every 2 to 3 years. So instead, we've got the super harvest moon October. Why super? Well, the moon does not go around the Earth in a circle. It goes around in a squashed circle, which our mathematical friends in the audience will tell you is called an ellipse, elliptical orbit. So sometimes it's closer, sometimes it's further away. This full moon this month is closer a little bit. So it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit brighter. It's blinding. It's so big, no, that's not true. Everybody okay? Oh, all right. We interrupt this program for a snake. Probably a harmless snake. We don't have any poisonous ones here, and they're more afraid of us. Wow. All right. Very good. Thank you for alerting us. Well, that was exciting. There is a snake in the heavens, which you can see now if you know where to look. It's held up by Ophiuchus, the serpent carrier, but he's split into two: the head caput, the tail cauda, serpent, which happens to be a sign of the zodiac. We'll take a look later. So we've got some poetic names for the moon. This month, once in a while, every 2 to 3 years, the moon is in such a position that the harvest moon doesn't happen in September. The moon's orbit around the Earth doesn't fit nicely into a year. You divide 365 days by 12, you get 30.4. Everybody all right? Okay. It actually spins 27 and a third. The phases of the moon are 29 and a half. Very confusing. Depends on what you measure it by. Yeah, that's good. We've got other species are watching our show.
Yeah, one of the perks of having presentations in a state park is we're in their home.
All right, so one of the things that we can do, unlike flat star maps of the kind that you can buy here, shameless plug, there is a program called Stellarium. It's free. You can download it. You can run it off the website without downloading it. You can put it on your mobile devices for free. And it simulates the sky, and I can show you what the moon looks like from night to night. We can also exaggerate the phase of the moon since it's hard to see for the people in back. I'm going to multiply the size of the moon. We can make Stellarium look like a star chart that spins. We happen to sell these. They're called planispheres, and they're inexpensive, available at science gift shops, museums, and here. And Kim is holding one right now, very inexpensive, good way to learn the sky. In Stellarium or on a computer program, however, you can zoom way in and simulate the sky in better detail. What I could do is also make the moon look a little bit bigger. Let's try that.
Yep, I sent the planisphere around, so whenever who has it last, if you give it back to this desk, that would be great.
And there's the moon. We can also travel through time. Oops. Oh, all right, thank you. Uh, Experiencing technical difficulties. We'll have a word from our sponsor. Let me see. Why did
This show is brought to you by you. This is, in fact, a nonprofit organization, and you guys are the ones who support it. And the donations and proceeds from buying things in the gift shop do, in fact, keep our bills paid and allow us to keep offering the free public programs. I need to stretch for more time. Or get, hey, Chris, can you fix the thing?
Yeah, the thing. I believe it's a computer connection. Not sure what's happening here. It's using HDMI, but it lost the application. Let me see.
All right. So, well, I don't have anything to fix that with, so.
No AV experts in the audience. Let's see.
All right. So, have we tried unplugging it and plugging it back in?
Well, it's worth a try.
All right. So, while he's trying to run some quick troubleshooting, were there any questions in the audience? Because I can actually see you since this is the sun behind me. You can't see me because I'm in front of the sun, which, fun facts, if that was actually the sun and I was a planet crossing in front of the sun, that would be a transit, because I am smaller than the sun and moving in front of the sun. But yeah, if you guys had any questions, do feel free to ask. I'll hand you the microphone and we can try and answer them. How many observatories do we have? So we have the 6 white sheds up there. We also have the one red shed behind the house. Each of those houses its own telescope. We do have at least but that will be our biggest telescope that we have. And assuming we can get some more clearance on the other and through the permitting phase on the telescope, we had a project with NJIT, which is New Jersey Institute of Technology. We actually have access to a
Yes. Yeah.
Yay! Someone who knows audio,
this is Linux,
visual
not
stuff.
What we can do is
But were
that's
there
the pedal.
any other questions?
Oh, there we go.
Hey!
Thank you. Thank you very
Apparently
much,
we
sir.
just needed to yeet it to
Well,
the
let's
other
give a hand
screen.
to our audience expert.
All right. And now, back to the normal programming.
All right. Let's see.
The fun things of doing live content.
Now, the only problem is I can't see it. Yeah.
I don't know how to set it to mirror.
It's not Windows. Nope. All right, let me see if I can do it this way. Here we go. We can do it this way. All right, so I was trying to follow the moon by looking toward the west, and I can pick my date like so. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's not cooperating. All right. So today is the 4th, and I'm looking for. I'm not looking for Starlink. I'm looking for the moon. What the heck happens? 20. This is current time in real time. All right, why don't we start with the constellations? I'm going to start in the north. Anybody recognize this group? It is, and there are not 7 stars in it. There are actually 8. Right there, there's a double star, an apparent double. They don't really belong together by gravity. They don't go around each other, but in the real sky, these things are huge. And one thing that you can do is cheat a little bit and pretend that we have a star chart with the official lines from the International Astronomical Union. And so this is the Great Bear. The head, claws are below the trees. The tail of the bear. Tail of the bear, is that right? Do bears have tails? Yeah. This one, the bear, was captured by brave Native American warriors, one of whom flung the bear into the sky, stretching out its tail. And that's how the Big Dipper, the Great Bear, got its tail. If you want to find the Little Dipper, very easy by lining up the 2 pointer stars about 5 times the angle apart. If you hold your fist out at arm's length, generally that's about 5 degrees. The whole sky is 360 degrees. Big Dipper, follow it about 25 degrees and you'll come to the North Star, Polaris, because the Earth's North Pole points in that direction. Not exactly, very close though. And once you do this, you know where north is. Then you can get your bearings. You can also find other constellations that circle around the pole and never rise or they never disappear. They never set. They're always up. You can always see them, even in the daytime. No, it's okay to disagree with me. No, you can't see them in the daytime. The sun's light gets in the way, but they are there. Cassiopeia, the queen, looks like a letter W. And the king, to me, looks like an upside-down house this time of year. Once you know these 5 constellations, Great Bear, Small Bear, Ursa Minor, the king and the queen, and the dragon, Draco, dragon, then you can start finding your way around to other parts of the sky. So I'm going to turn around and face west, where the stars of spring are the stars of summer are disappearing. Hercules we talked about before, Corona Borealis and a satellite. Corona Borealis is where we're looking for the star T. T is a tiny faint star, makes a triangle with these 2 stars on the end. So we're going to be looking here. Watch the major news media. It'll be on for about 5 seconds if T blows up. It's a nova. We're expecting a nova, an explosion near a star. There's actually 2 stars going around each other. One is very small and dense, and it's pulling material from the big star into a disk. Once in a while, the material hits part of the disk that's concentrated, and it blows up. Every 80 years. It was supposed to happen sometime between last April and September. Guess what? It didn't. But because the stars are going around every 228 days, we expect every orbit there may be an explosion. November 10th is the next opportunity. Watch it. If it doesn't happen then, add 228 days, we go to June of the next year. 2026. So hold your breath. What can I say? Look for T Corona Borealis in the crown. The crown is going to be entering the morning sky very soon. We talked about Hercules in the past with its famous globular cluster. Looks like a little fuzzy smudge in binoculars or a small telescope. This is actually one of the biggest globular clusters that orbit the Milky Way galaxy. There are tens of thousands of these things. They are very old as our galaxy. And this one has about 500,000 stars in it. You can see it in small telescopes. Big telescopes will show you hundreds of stars, very dramatic. But we're not here to see the old constellations. I was talking about, and if you look low in the southwest, so what do? You go out, you face opposite from north, right? Look for the letter SW for southwest, right? No, because you won't see a red letter SW. You look for a big hoop and the head and the tail of the snake. Serpens. This is now the 13th sign of the zodiac. In the past, over a period of about 25,000 years, the earth wobbles like a wobbling top, but it's a very slow wobble. Anybody ever been to Switzerland? Anyone? Oh, yeah, somebody has. There is a clock in Switzerland that has precession. There's a gear for it, but it takes 24,772 years to go around once. Because of precession, the signs of the zodiac got shifted. There are now 13 signs that the sun goes through, not 12. And this is one of them. Ophiuchus, the carrier of serpents. Now in the real sky, you're not going to see either pictures or lines, but I'm going to leave the lines up to make it easier because when you buy a star chart, they put the lines in. This thing, you'll never guess what they call this. The amateur astronomers like the ones here, like Kim and the others, myself, named this, not professionals. They named this, you'll never guess, the spout, lid, handle, teapot. Very good, thank you. And you see the steam coming out? That's the Milky Way. That's our galaxy. The galaxy is very thin, so it looks like a band of light. Billions of stars. In fact, the new count is 1,000 billion stars. 1 trillion stars in the Milky Way. Right above the teapot spout, look for a supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy, 30,000 light years away. See it? Look. Can you see a black hole? No, because it's very good, black. Boy, you guys are sharp. You'll get guys in the back. You hear that? Teapot. Now, if you're lucky enough to come to Jenny Jump, UACNJ here on a clear night, not like tonight when the moon is gibbous, you look for a little fuzzy cloud above the spout. I saw that with my naked eye. That's the technical term. Repeat after me, naked eye. I didn't hear the people in back. Naked eye. Very good. You've all got one. Use it. You might actually see a stellar birthplace called the Lagoon Nebula. That's a gas cloud where stars are forming from bright reddish hydrogen gas glowing with its own light. Now, in some nebulae or nebulas, there was an episode of The Simpsons where the boss of the nuclear plant had to decide between catsup and ketchup. So it's like that. Nebulae, Latin, nebulas, plural. This one is the Trifid or Trifid Nebula. Why is part of it blue? Well, there are stars hotter than the sun that glow blue. Their light is lighting up the hydrogen gas. And someday we can actually watch this happen. That dark gas, dust, and the bright gas, it will collapse under the force of gravity and make new stars and planets. How do we know? Because we've seen it happening. It's very slow, but we can watch it happening. Amazing. That's the Trifid Nebula right near the famous Lagoon Nebula above Sagittarius the Archer. When you look carefully at the teapot here, it looks exactly like half man, half horse holding a bow and arrow. Wow. Yeah, you don't see that? All right. Sagittarius. I don't know. Our ancestors had one thing that we don't, and actually, one thing we don't, and one thing we do. They had clear skies, no light pollution, and they had drugs. If you look higher than the low horizon, now where I live, there's houses and trees. It's going to be hard to see these stars of summer disappearing. But if you look high, you'll see a triangle of three bright stars in three different constellations. Just before we started, I was looking up and I saw these three stars. They're up right now. They form a triangle shape, and you see them in the summer. So you will never guess what the official name is. Go ahead. Summer triangle. Now you see how science works now. Very good. Yeah, this is the star Deneb, the tail of the swan. We've got Lyra the lyre or harp, ancient harp, with its bright star Vega, featured in the movie Contact, science fiction. And the star Altair in the eagle was also featured in an old science fiction movie, Forbidden Planet. Some of you Star Trek fans know that the Denebians feature in Star Trek from Deneb. But these are three bright stars, three separate constellations. And if I wanted to, I could cheat and show you some pictures. But unless you're not feeling well, you probably won't see that. In between, there's a really nice little grouping of stars here, which you can guess. Sagitta, shot by Sagittarius. What is that? Arrow. And right next to it is a famous asterism. It's not a constellation. There are dozens of these things, but this is one of the most easily recognized. Something you might find in your closet, but upside down. Coat hanger, correct. Very good. You know what? This person in the audience is doing so well that I am going to take off my headset for a second. And I'm going to say congratulations for being an active participant and for enduring a snake. Everybody, a snake. Wow. We don't regularly have snakes here during our presentations, but if you like, from now on, you can vote. Sagitta, and right there in the middle, nice little grouping, the coat hanger. These are summer stars that will be disappearing. The moon is among the stars of Aquarius. Aquarius, aqua, water, the water carrier, sign of the zodiac. But is the moon anywhere near those stars? Well, we can measure how far things are by light. So the moon is about 3/4 of a light second away. Takes like that long. To get to these other stars, like this one, let's pick one. Sad al-Malik. The Arabs named the stars during the Dark Ages, and we still use a lot of their star names. This one is about 24 light years. Oh no, I'm sorry, 660 light years away. So it took that long for light to reach us from the star. The moon, 3/4 of a light second, much closer. So when the moon is in a constellation, it's nowhere near those stars, it's in front. You can watch the moon over the next few nights doing some interesting things. Whoops. October 5th, the moon is moved next to Saturn. Don't miss this. October 5th, the moon will be near Saturn and the planet Neptune, making a nice triangle. Can you see the planet Neptune with the unaided eye? No. Binoculars? No. Small telescope? Maybe. I have a small telescope. I'm going to try that sometime this week if there's a clear sky. But you can definitely see the disk of Saturn even with a small telescope. In Stellarium, we can center an object. We can zoom in. Whoops, let's try that again. And in a small telescope, you might just see the rings of Saturn. Very difficult to do nowadays because as Saturn goes around the sun, it has a tip to its axis, just like the Earth. The Earth, 24.5 degrees, Saturn, 29 degrees. And as we move around the sun, Saturn looks like it tips through different angles, and therefore the rings of Saturn will be open or closed. They disappeared completely in March of this year because while they are 170,000 miles wide, they're only about 30 to 100 feet thick. 30 feet. Yeah, so they're very thin compared to their size. I made a model of Saturn once about this big, about 6 inches across, and I airbrushed paint onto a clear, transparent acrylic disc. The paint, the tiny droplets of paint that you can see in a microscope were still too big for scale. With large telescopes, you can see details of Saturn's bands. You can see 5 or 6 moons, even in a small telescope. A lot of fun. Ask the astronomers here to show you Saturn when it comes up later on at night. So don't miss a nice grouping of the moon with Saturn. Over the next few nights, the 6th, the moon will be in Pisces, the fishes, moving down, and finally it will disappear at 8:30 at night by the 10th. So if you want to see the moon, what do you do then? You wait till it rises, right? So everything changes over time. As the Earth rotates, everything will go from that way east to that way west at Jenny Jump. Here's a challenge. Anybody can guess what this constellation might be? Take a wild guess. 3 stars, familiar shape. The triangle! Whoa, yeah. Actually, the name is Triangulum, the triangle. Very good. Got some bold members of the audience who are not shy about naming things. We do have some faint objects that look like our Milky Way from a great distance. This is called a spiral galaxy, and we live in one. In fact, if you want to see the nearest one to us, all you have to do is find Andromeda the Princess by looking for this big, great square in the sky toward the east, coming up in the east. It's a big, great square. You'll never guess what astronomers call it. Go ahead. How did you, boy, you guys, the Great Square. Yes, and it's actually part of a horse, a horse with wings. Pegasus, yep. Attached to the horse, Andromeda the princess, who was punished by the gods because her mother Cassiopeia boasted that she was more beautiful. Actually, either she herself or the daughter was more beautiful than Hera, queen of the gods. Now, if you know Hera, Hera was very jealous, very, very jealous. Very bad idea. So Hera had Andromeda chained to the rocks to be eaten by a serpent, Cetus, to be rescued by Perseus, the hero, riding on the back of the flying horse. They're all up there in the sky. The whole story is out there. If you missed it, go to the library. The book has been there for the past 5,000 years. Well, at least 2. And the sky has been there forever. So go check out the story of Perseus and Andromeda. There's Perseus holding the head of Medusa. There's Andromeda. And if you look carefully in Andromeda, count from this star in the side of the great square, go 2 stars down and 2 stars up. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now these stars are faint, kind of hard to see, but if the sky is clear, you'll see a fuzzy blob several times the size of the full moon. This is the nearest galaxy to us, and it's called the Andromeda Galaxy. This is a galaxy a little bit bigger than ours. It has 2 obvious satellite galaxies just as we do. And if any of you have visited the southern hemisphere, you have probably seen the clouds of Magellan, two little satellite galaxies that went right through our galaxy millions of years ago. Andromeda's got similar dwarf galaxies orbiting it. And in close-ups, we can see dust, gas lit up by the light of young blue stars, just like we saw in the Trifid Nebula. And the light of reddish older stars toward the center of the galaxy. This is what our Milky Way looks like from Andromeda, because we are a spiral also. Now, some of you probably heard that we may be on a collision course with this galaxy. So tonight when you go home, I want you to pack your belongings, get some snacks. No, actually, no, it's going to take a while. The original estimate was 3 billion years. That's 3,000 million. But the new estimate was 5 billion. And then they did some new studies that show that we might miss altogether. So it's going to be either a near miss or a merger. Even if we collide with this galaxy, nothing's going to happen because the space between stars is so great that we'll just merge over billions of years. It will take another 3 billion years after the 5, and then we'll become one big galaxy. But that is visible to the naked eye here at Jenny Jump. On a nice clear night when the moon is not here, come on back. We do this every Saturday live, April through October, and then we do it online November through March when it's too cold. And see if you can see the Andromeda Galaxy with your naked eye. Look for Perseus rising low in the northeast this time of year. Again, if you get confused, you want to buy yourself a star map, you can go to Sky and Telescope magazine or Astronomy magazine. They have a centerfold in the middle which shows the sky for each month. You can go online to do that. You can subscribe. Sky and Telescope and Astronomy both have free sections, vastly free sections of their websites. And again, easy to remember, space.com. We do have meteor showers happening this month, and later on in the month, the Orionids come from Orion, which will be coming up in the east in the winter. If you stay up late and look at the sky on the same date, let's go to the middle of the month. On the 15th, 9:42, 10:42, or Orion is rising in the east at 10:43 at night. I just changed the date and time. This is the middle of the month. So the Orionid meteors, where are they going to go? How do you see them? Well, what kind of special equipment do you need to see a meteor shower? Do you need a big telescope? No. Oh, wow, we've got some people. No, not a big telescope, not a small telescope, not binoculars, naked eye. What else do you need? In order to see the whole sky at once comfortably, you need a technical term, take note, comfy chair, right? Or a lawn chair. You might not need bug spray, it's getting cold. And finally, don't forget snacks, very important. All right, so it's a very comfortable way to watch meteors. They streak within a fraction of a second. Most of them are the size of a beach ball. Oh, very clever audience here. Not a beach ball, not a fist-sized, mostly sand grains, right? If they're much bigger, they might make it all the way to the ground. Then a meteor becomes a meteorite, right? Right, that rhymes. All right, lest I risk losing everything, I'm going to pause here for questions. And I'm going to do a quick review before we do that so that you know your way around the sky. So if you're looking at a comfortable time for the younger members of the audience, why don't we go back to about 8:44 at night? Wait a minute, how about right now? Real time. 2044 is 8:44 and 49:50 seconds, counting down. We would easily see the summer triangle if we face to the south. We could still see Hercules the hero, which I talked about in previous What's Up talks. We could find the disappearing teapot in the center of our galaxy. You'd have to probably stay up till either later or wait until the moon is out of the sky in a few days to see the Milky Way. But this time of the year, the Milky Way is nice. It's starting to set. It's still fairly high enough for you to see part of it. So, lest I confuse you, why don't we follow some kind of technique? We can use the Big Dipper first to find north. If we're facing the other direction, hold on to your seats. I'm going to do something really fast. Don't want to make anybody dizzy. If you're facing south, tip your head backwards to the top of the sky. Woo! Then you can find the Big Dipper and follow it. Might be difficult. Past the North Star to find Cygnus the Swan. Later on this year, around December, the swan is low in the sky and is sometimes called the Christmas cross. In the swan, there's a beautiful double star. I urge you to ask the amateur astronomers here to show you Albireo when it's up. Albireo is a gorgeous double star, two different colors. Now, unfortunately, in Stellarium and other computer programs, you don't see the color contrast. But to the eye, looking through a telescope, one of these stars is a brilliant cyan, a greenish blue, and the other is a golden orange. And the contrast is striking. One of the most beautiful double stars in the sky, stars that actually revolve around each other. Albireo, the head of Cygnus the Swan. Thank you. There are other kinds of nebulosities in the area, nebulas, gas clouds, wonderful objects. You can search for them in Stellarium if you know their names. I don't know the names of all of these, but there are experts here, a lot of amateur astronomers who know far more than I do about what to observe in the sky and how. And they've got different sized telescopes that you could try so you can see, you can try them out, look through them, see a projection on the side of one of our buildings, and see how objects differ from telescope to telescope. Anybody here ever hear of a nebula called the Ring Nebula? The Ring. When a star blows off its atmosphere, as our sun will do, pack your bags. Oh, no, it's going to take a while. Another 5 billion years, the sun will use up its fuel and puff out to become a giant size, and it will puff out a spherical shell like this. This was mistaken by the guy who was looking for comets, Messier, Charles Messier. He mistook this for a planet at first, and then he realized it wasn't changing like other planets. So he called it a planetary nebula, a gas cloud that's around like a planet. It's actually a sphere that we're looking through in the thinnest part in the middle. This one is called the Ring Nebula. Beautiful object in Lyra the Lyre. And you cannot see it without a telescope. See how small it is? Lyra looks like about that big in the sky. For the people in back, that big. On a star chart, it's pretty small. One of the smaller constellations. So I would recommend that you learn the sky with a map. Start with the summer triangle and work your way down and to the east to find this big square, the Great Square. And see if you can find the Andromeda Galaxy, which might be difficult to do now because what's in the way? The moon. Darn that moon. However, this is, I believe, National Observe the Moon Month. So we are going to be watching the moon in one of our observatories, and I urge you all to try to get a look when I finish speaking, which will be very soon. I'd like to thank you for being such a good and patient audience dealing with the snake and with technical difficulties. We do this every month. I'll be doing this online next time through a variety of media.
We do not have the snakes every month.
No. No snakes. Although if you want, you can put in a request. See, there's a request right now. Thank you for being such a good audience. Now we're ready for some questions.
All right. So thank you, Lonnie, for another great presentation. So how question and answer session is going to work. For everyone here, you get to raise your hand and kind of wave it about like you just don't care, because I'm partially night blind since I've been staring at computer screens. And much like the Jurassic Park T-Rex, if you stop moving, I can't see you. You just become a shapeless
Oh, Kim,
kind of form in the dark.
Kim, I have to interrupt. There's a new scientific study that they did with tomography and scanning T-Rex brains.
Yeah, T-Rex could see even if you're staying still. That's why I'm pointing out specifically the Jurassic Park T-Rex.
Very good.
Apparently, they needed to get that thing glasses or something. LASIK surgery. Online people, you guys have it easy. You guys just get to type, and then I'll ask your questions. So I'm going to start it off with the first online question, and this is referencing something from the very start. What would a gibbon moon even look like?
Well, if you're familiar with Planet of the Apes, I guess it would be Moon of the Apes. I have no idea. A gibbon moon. I guess it would be very hairy. So when the moon is out and it's hazy out and the clouds look like little strips of wisps of hair, that's a gibbon moon.
Instead of the old man on the moon, the old silverback gorilla on the moon?
There you go.
Right. And like I said, any questions out here, I will pass you the microphones, because chances are if you have a question, someone else might also have that same question but not be brave enough to ask it.
Don't be shy.
Hi. So, like those green specks, like the October camp. Well, I can't even read that right here.
Oh, Camelopardalis is that.
Oh, those are satellites?
No, actually, those are marking. Sorry.
That's for a meteor shower.
Yeah, that marks the meteor shower radiant point. So when you're looking for the Orionids, if you look near Orion, they seem to spray out from a single point. Just like railroad tracks meeting in the distance, they don't really. The meteors are on parallel tracks. We're going through the debris field of an old comet. So Stellarium marks some of these origin points. There is a way to get rid of them. I haven't figured it out yet. Very observant.
And I see one back there. Just 1 second. I do not want to kick this person's tripod. That would be mean.
Hi. Which messier objects are most visible today that we want to look over other than the Eye Nebula?
We did see some of them. Of course, the easiest would be Andromeda, but there are so many. I could just zoom in almost anywhere. Let's see. If we're especially in the area of Sagittarius, there's globular clusters. There's open clusters. Oh, actually, some of these are disappearing. Nebulae. There's a Halloween Witch's Nebula. Looks like a witch's head. There's dark nebula, mysterious dark. Whoa, satellites. Yeah, so I don't even know the names of all these. I just know a few. That'll be your assignment, sir. Aren't you sorry you asked?
All right. Also, I know I sent my planisphere out. If whoever has that could bring it back to my desk, I would appreciate it. Our next online thing was actually less of a question and more of a show tune, and I will attempt to sing it as best as I can. I'm very sorry. A horse is a horse, of course, unless, of course, the horse, of course, is the famous Pegasus.
Very good. That wasn't bad.
I can't always carry a tune, so.
Not bad.
Right. I thought I saw a hand up over there. Yeah, keep in mind, slightly blind. Okay, I see one back there and I see one over here. Oh, were you raising your hand or no? Oh.
No question? Make one up.
Is there a thing on YouTube if I heard of that the moon takes a while for Earth after Every,
Wait, I don't even know what you're saying. What are you saying? Say it
I
again.
can't forget what I was going to say.
It's okay. Just start over. Just talk slower.
I can't forget. I can't forget.
Just talk slower.
Okay, so when you remember, let me know, and we'll get back to you, okay, hon?
Okay, still looking
You
for
wanna ask?
questions.
Yeah.
Any question?
Yep.
If I know the answer, I'll make it up.
How do you know when the how do you know that the sun is gonna explode? Like how do you know?
How do we know that the sun is going to explode? Now, first disclaimer, the sun is not going to explode. It's going to be using up its nuclear fuel, creating hydrogen to helium and helium to heavier elements. And finally, when it gets to iron, it's going to be unable to fuse using the process of fusion anymore. And so what happens is these layers of the star collapse under gravity and a nuclear explosion occurs and it flings the outer atmosphere out. How do we know? Because we've seen this happening to other stars. We can calculate
Thank you.
how long the nuclear process takes, and we can observe that other stars doing this match our calculations. In science, you want to test theory with observation. And if you have an idea that you want to test, it's not a theory until you can start testing the original idea, which is an hypothesis. So a lot of people confuse these terms. Hypothesis, you have an idea, you assemble some mathematics to support it maybe, string some ideas together, then that's a theory, and then you test the theory. One of the most successful theories is Einstein's theory of relativity. He actually came up with it first, developed the mathematics, and then they observed a solar eclipse. They tested the time rate changes in clocks that go around the Earth in different directions. And it turns out everything agrees with Einstein's theory to the nth decimal place. It's quite amazing. Other theories, not so much. String theory, so far, no evidence that that's anywhere near right.
Right. I thought I saw another question back here. I could be wrong. Like I said, if your once your hand goes down and you stop moving, you cease to exist in the dark. Oh, there you are.
So there's a. I want to ask you guys if this theory is internet bunk or if it's legitimate. You said precession before, so I keep hearing on the internet there's this book called Hamlet's Mill that they push the idea that precession has been recorded through all these myths and religion and human history, and they think that if that they were aware of precession, then civilization must have been around, at least a precession cycle ago, so that it could have been observed, and that everything is, apparently older than they say it is. Have you heard of that?
I have not heard of that book, but I know that the ancients were aware of well, they took pretty accurate measurements of the heavens. The most accurate didn't happen until Tycho Brahe in the 16th century. So before that, it would have been naked eye observations with crude instruments, if they had them at all. So yeah, in theory, they could have noticed this, but we don't have any records going back that far, farther back than pretty much the Babylonians. But that's very interesting. I'll have to look up the book, which you said is the book of Ham something?
Hamlet's Mill.
Hamlet's Mill. I will look that up. Thank you.
All right. Also, sometimes we can make an, for lack of a better term, educated guess if we know the math. For example, we have not seen a full orbit of Pluto since the time we discovered it to the time they changed it from a planet to a dwarf planet. But we kind of knew its orbit because we saw part of it and could do the math. So
you can establish very accurately the path of objects in the heavens just from measuring a small portion of an orbit.
Geometry,
Yes.
arcs, all the math that I did not retain in high school. All right, so our next online question is, how close will 3i Atlas get to Earth?
I don't know the answer to that. I think closer to the sun than to Earth, I believe, from what I heard. There is a plan, possible plan, to send a very small but fast space probe to catch up with 3I Atlas. And that'd be interesting to see the form of it, the shape of it, to get more data. But I don't know, I would have to look that up. I believe from what I heard that was not going to be very close to Earth. Same problem with Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet did not come close to Earth on the last time or the time coming up, which I will see. I'll only be 108 years old, and longevity is in my family. But the time after that's going to be terrific in another 76 plus 20 years. Oops,
Longevity might be in his family, but spite's in mine.
I'm not going to get to that one.
Enough spite and caffeine, and I can do anything,
There you go.
according to my retail worker roots. All right. Was there another question out here? Anyone? Sorry, I'm trying to be like one of those owls where I have to like move around to see if anyone's.
I can almost.
Yep. So I realize I skipped the safety briefing at the end, and some people don't know. If you need to use the restroom, that's the porta potty in the back. We do have a museum and gift shop in there. Feel free to look around. The gift shop won't be open until I can get back in there because I am not able to be in two places at once according to the laws of physics, as much as people would like me to be. We do have several telescopes open. We have some open there in the white sheds with the roll-off roof. There's three to the left, one to the right, and as well as several of our volunteers have their own personal gear set up where you can feel free to ask. When we go to leave, we are using our headlights because we don't want to get run over or run over anyone. This is not Roger, and we'd like to keep it that way. That being said, if you need any flashlights, do keep those pointed towards the ground. 10,000 lumens directly to your retinas is no fun.
Right.
Right. Our next online question.
Whoops.
Hello? There we go. What is the weirdest creature that has ever interrupted a presentation?
The weirdest creature that has
Humans.
ever interrupted a presentation.
To be quite honest, humans.
I think that snake today might hold the record.
No.
We had large moths before on the screen, on the projection.
The weirdest creature to ever interrupt was my fiance came around the back of the building to ask me a question, so he didn't walk through the presentation.
Whoops.
And scared the bejesus out of me.
Oh,
And
that
I
was
leapt
weird.
over our poor presenter into the middle, like just
Oh.
waltzed over. So yeah, humans.
Yeah. While we're waiting on other questions or getting ready to leave, you can find me at astronomyinmotion.com. Astronomy in Motion.
Right. Well, if there's any questions, do raise your hand. I'm going to get through the rest of the online questions real quick. If you have any last minute questions, online people, do get those in because by the time they hear it, we're already 2 minutes into the
Thank
future.
you. Thanks for coming.
When would be the best time for us to see the 3I Atlas comet in New Jersey?
Ooh, I did not check on that. I have no idea. It's not going to be visible readily in small telescopes. So I'd recommend a visit to an observatory like this one.
My normal intuition would be to check with NASA. With the government shut down, I don't know how readily updated information there is. But there are other reputable sources, space.com, Sky and Telescope, all would have information, the best information they can get publicly. Those are some really excellent sources. Also, if you're wondering what's up. Let's see, our next online question. How long would it take to get to Mars with current technology?
Oh, that's a great question. To get to Mars with current technology, we would blast off but coast the rest of the way on what's called a Hamann orbit, which is a long arc to catch up with Mars. And the timing has to be done just right because don't forget the Earth is moving around the sun faster than Mars. So to catch up would take about almost a year, on the order of 9 months or more. And then you have to reverse brake when you get to Mars with your rocket and land in a separate shuttle. So it's a long endeavor. In fact, one company was looking for volunteers, older couples, to go to Mars. But my wife told me if we end up going to Mars together, after about a week, NASA would get a radio alert. One of us has not survived, and it wouldn't be her.
Truth be told, I would put my money on Jan
Yep.
surviving you too. No offense. All right. Also, I think how long it takes to get there, even with our current technology, varies greatly depending on where the two planets are in their orbit. Like, in an ideal orbit, I think it was 9 months. In less than ideal position, you're talking 3 years or something insane.
If you were to accelerate continuously and then halfway and decelerate the rest of the way halfway, it's only a matter of days. But we do not have that. That's a lot of fuel with conventional technology. Cannot do it. We need to find a different propulsion. Antimatter would be great, but we can generate only tiny, tiny nanograms of that.
All right, last chance. Any questions? Cool.
All right.
All right. I want to thank everyone who's joined us here, and also who's joined us online. If you happen to check us out online, do hit those like, follow, subscribe, whatever the free actions are. If you're feeling extra generous, the paid options are always there to donate and help us keep our bills paid and allows us to keep doing these free programs and other free outreach. With that, thank you, Lonnie. Thank you all. Yep, skies are looking good, so I wish you all the best, clear skies, and good seeing.
Thank you very much.